Welcome and welcome back. As always, I'm Jeremy Fee, and this is my BookTube channel. I greatly appreciate that you are here, not just in general, but especially for the release day for We're Not Home, a horror anthology. My short story, The Ghost of Walt Whitman, is in this book. The book was put together by Cam Wolfe. The idea was to collect short stories that deal with people who are not at home because they are off traveling or on vacation, something to that effect. It's such an amazing and powerful theme. I just love it. I love it. And the proceeds from this book all go to charities where they try and get books into the homes of people who need books in their hands. And I think that that's awesome. I applaud Cam Wolfe for doing that with the profits from the book. I'm really excited for the release of the book. I could not have done this, could not have written the story and put it in the book without all the awesome support from this community online. BookTube, AuthorTube, and HorrorTube. And not just support, but advice. There's so many people putting out awesome videos. They give advice for writers and for dealing with the stress and the life of trying to be a part of the reading and writing community. So again, I always appreciate that. In case you don't know, a lot of writers will say that one of the best ways that you can support writers is not just by buying and reading their books. Of course, that's awesome. But another step you can take is to go online and give reviews. If you want to do that, I don't really mean to put any pressure on you, but if you use websites like Goodreads or Storygraph or something to track your reading, it does help to mark that you want to read the book in the future and to mark that you are currently reading the book. And when you finish the book, it helps to put some sort of a rating, whatever honest feeling that you have from reading it. And if you want to go even a step more, you could type out something as a review for the book. Reviews don't have to be long. Some people really just have little one-sentence reviews or one paragraph, whatever works. But it really does help. And whatever bookseller you buy it from, like if you went online to Amazon and bought it from there, then you, of course, are being acknowledged by Amazon or whatever website is having purchased the book. They'll let you put a review on there as well. And that would be awesome. Star rating and some sort of comment. I actually enjoy reviewing books on Amazon because they have like a little line where you can put like a little catchphrase or a little tagline before you have your paragraph or multiple paragraph review, whatever it is that you have to say. If you want to do that for the book, I think that would be extra helpful and even, I'm going to use the word that I don't use very often, phenomenal. Now let me tell you about the stories in the book. I know you may be thinking that I sound biased because I have a story in the book, but I really did enjoy the book. I really loved reading these stories by the other authors, so I would like to take a moment to acknowledge each one of them. Kate Kavanaugh wrote this amazing story called In the Front of Your House. It's the story about a woman who's on vacation, but she's just bought a house before she left for vacation, and it came with one of those cameras on the doorbell, and she's got an app on her phone, and it keeps telling her that someone is outside her house, someone's outside her door, and it's really freaking her out. And it's a lot of fun, the tension that's created in the story, and the paranoia that builds and builds. So I highly recommend that story. The second story in the book is by Dane Cobain. It's another wonderful story. It's called Not in Tamworth Anymore. It's about a couple that is out traveling and they get lost, and there are horrifying results. This is the kind of story that I would be giving spoilers if I said really anything else. So I'll just say the emotions were very real, and I felt really bad for what happened to the characters. The next story was by David DeCero, another wonderful booktuber that we have here, and I really enjoyed this story. It's called The Cabin's King. This is a fantasy horror combination. It's got crime, it's got suspense, it's got combat, and you don't have much combat in the stories in the collection, so to me it stands out for that reason. I also thought the characters and the conflict were good. And then you get to my story next in the collection. My story is about a college couple that's taking a spring break trip. They're going to go stay in a haunted house in New Orleans. I'm originally from Louisiana, so I had a lot of fun with the New Orleans aspect of it. The main character just wants his girlfriend to confirm how much that she loves him because he loves her so much. He ends up with a lot more to worry about than that. The story after that is from Andrew Lyell. I hope I didn't mispronounce that. Ald Augie. It's a really awesome story. It's full of horror. It starts out with a guy who wants to go fishing. He just enjoys fishing. But the locals there tell him all these myths about lake monsters and creatures, and it stirs up to me as a reader a real curiosity of what's going to happen. You know, is he going to see something like the Loch Ness Monster? How will this affect his fishing trip? It ends up being more than just a creature feature, though. The imagery and pacing were great. I really enjoyed the reveal at the end. The next story, I'm just going to say all of these are good. I keep saying they're wonderful or awesome. Yes, they're all good. This one's by Marie McWilliams. It's called 9 Seconds. This one really freaked me out. You know, when you're reading horror, you want to be freaked out. So that's good that it freaked me out. It's got an airplane that lands, but when they go to check the plane, everyone on board has mysteriously disappeared. I mean, how did it land without pilots? So there's a team investigating what happened. Oh, and I don't want to give away spoilers. It's good. Next up is Lydia Peever's story, Last in a Long Line. It's about a family. They're out visiting an area with a shipping canal. The parents freak out because their little girl is almost killed there at the beginning of the story from what happens, but they don't seem to accept what the little girl is saying. This little girl seems to have seen something, and it's a lot of fun in the story trying to figure out what the girl saw and what that implies, what it really means. Great mysterious story, interesting family dynamics with the intrigue. Then we've got R. St. Clair's story, The Starlet Suite. I really like this one. It's mysterious. It's got one of those creepy hotels. You've got this weird hotel thing and you're wondering, is someone going to end up trapped in the hotel? Are there ghosts in the hotel? What sort of interaction is there going to be? It's got a lot of fun references, interesting cultural connections. I think you'll be delightfully surprised with what happens in it. And then we've got Slady Valhelm's story, The Last Road Trip. It's about two friends trying to storm Area 51. I think of all the stories in the book, I probably laughed the most in this one. I enjoyed the humorous type of elements mixed in with the weird horror kind of stuff. They see bright lights in the sky. There's discussion of whether it's aliens or something else that's messing with them. It's got some weird, trippy stuff too. So I think you'll enjoy it. The next story is called 665, and you know what number comes after that. It's by Matt Wall. Oh man, this one properly creeped me out. There's a lot here. It's a cabin in the woods kind of story, and I think it's great that the collection has a cabin in the woods story, but it's more than that. There's a lot more going on. The husband in the story is taking his wife out there as a sort of therapeutic experience, which immediately made me think about the creepiness of Charlotte Perkins Gilman's story, The Yellow Wallpaper, how the husband takes his wife for a rest cure. And so in my brain, I was thinking about how surely this is not going to work out. And yeah, there's quite a twist in this one. You may see it coming, you may not, but there's some extreme violence going on. If you like extreme violence in your horror, you're going to love it. The next story is Karma Always Comes Back by Shea Warren. It starts with a woman discovering her boyfriend cheating on her. She's got an overprotective best friend who assures her karma will take care of it. You know, the title, Karma Always Comes Back. And so it was interesting to think, you know, what's going to happen? What sort of universal cosmic karma are we dealing here? And the author teases you as a reader, at least me, I felt teased by the nightmares. The main character starts having these weird nightmares with stuff, and then the unthinkable happens. The story just levels up. It gets even better than it was at the beginning. After that, we've got Jason White's story, The Lords of Dusk. It's about a couple that's traveling through this creepy town where there are no working phones. There's no cell phone reception. You get to know them as they're staying in the hotel at the beginning, but as they try to interact with these weird locals, it seems like the locals are kind of forcing them to go to this party in the town. You know, they say you've got to go to this big party. And so it became this element of what's going to happen to this couple, what's with the weird locals, what are they going to do to them at this party, are these people going to be able to escape the town? You know, if like me you enjoy getting caught up in that kind of intrigue, then I think you'll really like it. Then the last story in the collection is by Cam Wolfe. It's called Head in the Sand. It's about a beach vacation, a couple that's annoyed by how crowded everything is while they're on vacation, and the guy just wants to relax. He just wants to get away from the crowd. They get tempted by a local who offers to take them to a secluded beach. It actually kind of made me think of that movie, The Beach, with Leonardo DiCaprio. Tourists who want to go off and experience something isolated but local. And of course, It's a tale of terror, so you should be able to predict that bad things are going to happen. What's really nice to me is that the last line of this story is very powerful, and I feel like that also works great as being the last line of the book as a whole. Definitely read that last story and just take in that experience. I think it'll bring everything together for you. I hope that you've enjoyed me talking about all the stories in the book. It's available as an ebook. It's available as a physical book. Pick your poison. Alright, that's it for my book talk today. Every day is a good day for a book talk or a book release. Peace.